What's up, everybody? It's Henry again, coming to you with another video with the PSI Defense channel. As you know from my last video, I did have some mixed results with my new magazine hack and the Z.68s. I am bound and determined to figure out what the problem was and to make these as reliable as possible, because I plan on using these as my ultimate home defense round. Whereas if anybody actually comes into my home, I have every right to defend myself and my family with the most effective means possible. That being said, just remember, use in public at your own risk, because you might have some legal troubles here in the United States. I don't know how the laws work in other countries, but my big soapbox message on the last video was as it relates to laws here in the United States. I do want to say the Z.68 is very well made. It slides down the barrel with minimal gap, which means you don't get a lot of blow by. It's a very smooth surface. They're all uniform, they're very balanced and very well made. So don't misconstrue my comments from the last video, or the fact that I did get jams for the fact that you should avoid these at all costs. You should just use proper respect for what they are, and I'm gonna figure out the rest, guys. I'm determined to do that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try a different barrel. I tried the stock T 8.1 barrel in my FSC to test it last time, and this time I am going to use my boom treated 9-inch eBay barrel. And I believe there aren't any burrs in the mag well. I'm just going to see if this slides down the barrel. And it does. It slides down quite nicely. Try that one more time. Go all the way in from the back. Get it past the detents. And comes out the bottom, no problem. So the biggest problem is going to be getting this seated into the breech properly. And one thing I'm thinking of doing, I'm going to try an alternative method. I'll post the guy's name who originally listed to, leave the spring intact, but to rotate the tip on the follower. I'll be trying that. First, with this eBay barrel, I'm going to be trying my hack to see if I can shoot 5 rounds. I'm going to lube them back up, shoot 5 rounds, see how that works. And then I'm also going to, in this magazine, do the hack and then attempt to shoot 5 rounds and then see what I get. I've already removed my Grimberg barrel from my T 8.9. On here, it sticks out a little bit, which I'm not a huge fan of, but being that this is for home defense, I'd rather it be as effective as possible than as cool looking as possible. And just for kick's sake, happen to have a spare lab coat flash hider. I prefer this look. I think it's called the G30, but I prefer this look on rifles. But for the time being, I'm gonna just do this on the E-barrel just so I don't have the thread showing. So that's what I'm gonna end up with. I also have a mock suppressor, but that's long enough for me as it is. And if this is my Z-Ram monster, then so be it. All right, so from the last video, as you guys can recall, the way I open this up, I take my O-ring pick into that little hole right there, into that little hole. And I have it sitting down on my mat. I push down on the little tab, angle it back slightly, and that back end pops off. So I'm not going to bust out the tripod or anything. All right, that was easy enough. There's my hack, a little piece of glue stick. So what I'm going to do, rotate that 180 degrees. Replace the spring. All right, and there's his hack. I'm actually going to use the same magazine too. And what I'm going to also do, I'm going to also add this piece of silver spring. Okay, so open up the back hatch, press my spring, add a piece of spring. You see I've got that cut right there, so I'm going to use the flat part to go up against the other piece of spring so that way it doesn't coil into itself. And it's possible that that added spring tension might do the trick with my hack. And what I think I'm going to use to lube these guys, I'm going to use my old favorite gun drops. It's more of a liquid air marker lubricant, but it's got high viscosity, so I think it might be really good for this application. Holds onto the metal really well, makes it very slippery. Before I got with Ultra Silk products, this was my go-to lubrication for everything. I still use it on some things, but it seems to be a really good application here. Okay, I'm going to load up my 12 gram CO2 while I've got my gun drops. Go ahead, for old time's sake, drop a little bit down in there. Work the valve so it can go in. A little bit on top of my CO2. So it blows through the launcher. Gauge my safety. There we go. All right, out to the range. All right, guys, got the T8.1 Ultra Silk boom treated barrel. It's a 9-inch eBay barrel. Got a Lycra flash hider on there. And then I've got 5 Z.68s loaded up with 12 grams of CO2. Fingers crossed. See what we get. Okay, 248. $312. 216. 216. And got a jam. Okay, so always remember to be careful when you're clearing your jams. See the holes in my garage door, that's how I found that out. Wife's not too happy about that, but just jammed on the last one. All right, guys, as you saw, I got a jam on the 5th shot, the last shot in the mag. So let's take a look at what we got here. Okay, now there seems to be some kind of a burr because now I can't seem to get any of them to go down the barrel. Okay, this definitely has a burr because here's a Grimbrick Jewel V2 and I can't even get that past there, which is a little bit dismaying because to get rid of that burr I have to file the inside of my boom treated barrel. Now of course the most of the benefit from the boom treatment is along this area of the barrel, but it was also good to have the breech boom treated as well. But I'm gonna have to take some of that out to relieve some of this area. Yeah, I can see. Let's see if I can get you guys out. Okay, maybe that'll help. Okay, I'm not sure if you guys can see this or not, but right here in the corner of the breech and right here are where I'm getting the burrs. This little edge that sticks out. Now this is the eBay barrel. The tolerances and the milling process aren't as precise as Lapco barrels, but I don't know if you can see, but there's a little light spot right there in the corners. It's the smallest of burrs. You can barely see it or feel it right there. I can feel it with my pick, but that's what's keeping any rams from going, any projectiles from going down that barrel at the moment. So I'm gonna Dremel that out and try to get it as smooth as possible, and hopefully that solves the problem. I would have liked to have tested the other hack before I got burrs in this barrel, but unfortunately I didn't get that far. But as you can see, it's similar to what happened the last time. I was able to shoot all the rounds, and the last round, the way it got seated in there with my hack, I'm thinking my hack may have something to do with that. I'm not sure, but I'll Dremel that out and then we'll continue. All right, finished my Dremeling, got my detents back in this barrel. Let's see if you guys can see what I did here. Okay. All right, yeah, you should be able to see that. I used my smoothest grinding stone. And this transition right here, you can see where I did a little mild Dremeling on both sides. Then a little bit on this upper lip here. And I will tell you that the Z-rams go in quite nicely, come out the other side of the barrel. I will notice that with my eBay barrels, there was a little bit more, the Z-rams were slower to come out. Like I'm letting go of it now, and it comes right out. It came out slower because it created a little bit more vacuum because of the tighter tolerance on the stock T8.1 barrel that, as I told you guys before, was by Lapco. But here's a HP 68. All right. Now, I don't recommend that you guys go grinding on your barrel breeches. You don't want to take a lot of metal out. You need a certain amount of metal in that breech to keep everything in the proper alignment so that when your bolt comes, it doesn't create more damage inside of your barrel. And Z-Ram is developing their own proprietary barrels made out of steel that will address that. So these are aluminum, so when you got steel that hits up against it at a wrong angle, of course your aluminum is going to lose. But with them and with their precise machining that I've seen so far, I'm confident that they will have addressed that issue in their barrels and it will probably be the most ideal method to shoot their rounds. Just like the Grimberg barrels, the best round to use for them is the Jewel V2s. They were designed for it. It all has to do with port matching and minimal blow-by and all that good stuff. So very excited to see the Z-Ram barrel in action. But did a little grinding, so let's see what I get here. I will turn this up some because I did notice my numbers were a little bit low, but that's because I originally had the Grimberg barrel in here, and I can't expect the Grimberg barrel to match an eBay barrel by any means. So I'll go ahead and do a little bit of adjusting. I'll go ahead and shoot some HP 68s from this magazine just to be sure. And I'm gonna go ahead and install the other hack that is opposite of what I tried, leaving the spring in there because my friend from eBay, or my friend from YouTube, has told me he gets consistent results that way. So let me go ahead and try his hack, try my new modified barrel, and see what we get. What he did say with his hack, I've got that installed. He said you have to be a little more careful while installing Z.68s, making sure that they are flat when they go in. Now I will say, initially I see quite a bit of angle on all of them except for the last one. Okay guys, here goes round two. I'm gonna try my HP 68s first. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give it one full turn. Well, actually, let me see what the first shot gives me. Just so it's at the same velocity setting as the first shots with the Z.68s. 358. 212. I think that was a double shot because I see busted up HP in there. 334. 334. 310. 288. All right, there you go. Fired HPs without a hitch. All right, here's my Z-Rams. All right, fingers crossed. I want this to work. 332. 310. 228. 214. Jammed on the last one. All right, jammed, but it did not stay in the barrel. All right, I'm gonna see if there was any damage done to the barrel. No, still goes in fine. Show you guys. Hopefully you can see this. Caught by the detents. Push it straight through. So it's something about that last shot. Okay, what I'm gonna do this out here. I'm gonna take that little extra piece of spring out. All right, now I have to go grab another 12 gram CO2. I'll be right back. All right, just a single FSC spring. Got my friend's reverse follower hack. Brand new CO2, 5 Z-rams. Fingers crossed. Nope. Well, the Wright brothers didn't get their first airplane in the air, that's for sure. I'm going to keep trying because I'm bound and determined to find a solution. And if I can't find a solution, like I said, Daniel from Z-Ram, he is working on his own proprietary barrel, which will ultimately be the solution, but we all aren't going to have that barrel. So I'm going to try to find us who already have barrels and aren't able to make the investment to still be able to take advantage of the Z.68s. Very high quality round, very high potential for damage, and I'm sure we can have a lot of fun with them. All right, guys, in the interest of science, I'm going to do one more try. I loaded up my 5 Z.68s. As you can see, it's got that steep angle because I switched back to my hack. I put the glue stick back in the follower, turned it back around to the stock position, and I'm just using the single red first strike spring and with my barrel modified, my breech and my barrel modified. And let's see what I get. Okay, it's 216, 224, 234, it's the third shot. 110, moment of truth, here we go. Shot all 5. Until next time, this is Henry signing out. Remember to take care of each other and show some love today, guys. Peace.